At the age of 15, Merv Aubespin enrolled in Tuskegee Institute with dreams of teaching. And by 19, he was working as a shop teacher for the Louisville, Kentucky School District. But the draw of the newsroom pulled him away from the classroom in 1967 when he got a call from a friend regarding an opening at the Louisville Courier-Journal.
I went to the art department and I had an interview, and I made the director of the art department an unusual offer. I offered to work there 2 weeks for absolutely nothing. He would see if I could do the work, and I would see if I would like doing the work.
It only took Aubespin 2 days to land the job and become the first African-American news artist hired at the Louisville Courier-Journal. A lone African-American in a newsroom full of whites, editors called upon him to accompany a white reporter to a demonstration in 1968. The rally turned into a riot, and Aubespin sent the white reporter back to the newsroom for his safety. Despite no prior training, he phoned in reports to the newsroom for 2 days, even in the face of violence and the police.
Police kicked open the door and stuck a shotgun in and said I said to move on. And I told him, I said, I'm an acting reporter from the Courier-Journal, and gave him a little piece of paper that the editor had written it on. Merv Aubespin is an acting reporter. And he looked and he says, there are no nigger reporters at the Courier-Journal, and threw it out in the gutter and took his gun and ushered me on out. I think that police officer played a pivotal part in my career, because it was then I decided I was going to be a journalist.
And so began his career as a journalist. Aubespin spent over a decade covering local beats until he was promoted to associate editor in 1985. And though the road led him away from education, he never stopped being an educator. He devoted his career to teaching and mentoring thousands of up-and-coming journalists. And in 2002, he passed the torch to the next generation when he retired from the Courier-Journal. It is for pioneering years in the industry and his dedication to young journalists nationwide that we honor him tonight.
Mr. President, Merv Aubespin, it is my honor and my pleasure to induct you into the NABJ Hall of Fame.
I had this long speech written, and I gave it to one of my copy editor friends, and when they gave it back to me, it looked like this. But those of you who know me, and many do, know that Merv never spoke from written speeches anyway. Merv likes to talk from the heart. I have had a love affair with NABJ for a long, long time. And NABJ has been good to me and changed my life. It was through NABJ that I met journalists and those who weren't, African Americans and every other color imaginable, here in Timbuktu, in the jungles of Guatemala, and the sand of the Sahara Desert, all because of my association with this organization. And through this organization, I have had the privilege of delivering the message of how important it is what we do. And I have listened to journalists in Guatemala and Timbuktu, in the Sudan and South Africa, tell me how lucky we are that we can practice our craft with dignity. NABJ has also allowed me to pass that message to my babies out there. Those are all the young people who I've tried to encourage when things got rough, who I've challenged and motivated and sometimes just cussed them out. But you know, the funniest thing happened tonight and yesterday. I saw a friend of mine who attended Columbia with me 36 years ago, and I haven't seen him since then, who came just for this. I had another friend who got on a plane and arrived here at 1 o'clock today, who came just for this. My joy, my dear friends, and I'll quit soon, is that every time I walk across the floor, I meet young people who simply say, "Uncle Merv, I'm going to make you proud." And if that is not an honor, then what is? I used to tell a story, and I'll be through in a minute, that a minister told me once about a church that set up in the hills of Kentucky that had to get torn down because the highway was coming through. And he got his parishioners together and they tore the church down, and when it was over with, one of them said to him, "Reverend, it looks like we were never there." And the Reverend says, "Oh, wait. You see that tobacco barn that's set right next to that church? Look at it." And there, where that church had protected that barn from wind and storm and snow and coal dust, was the perfect outline of that church. And he said, "We may not be here, but they will know that we passed by." Thank you, NABJ. You have helped me rest easy. Somebody knows that I passed by. Thank you.